Hi everyone, welcome to BIMco Bytes. Today's session is a continuation on the Environment plugin for Revit tool. So just as a recap on our previous session, we did run through the Environment tool, gave an introduction and did a demo of all of these tools, as you can kind of see on the ribbon over here, and showcased all of these tools using this sample file. So since that class was conducted, there have actually been an update with this plugin with some new tools and new features that have been introduced, which I'll showcase a few of those tools today. So going through the list of what we'll run through today. So essentially what we'll be doing is we'll be working through some spreadsheet files, some DWGs, and creating Revit geometry and elements from that, as well as assigning family placements based on those files supplied. All right, so just a bit of background of the file that I'll be demonstrating with today. So as you can kind of see here, it's just a CAD file with a few trees, bit of topography on there with the contour lines. And then if I switch to a 3D view, you can kind of see that there are some elements on here that are lines that are done with an elevation height. So this is kind of handy to observe when we showcase the import tool, which I'll show you now. So the first thing we'll do is look at this button called Import List. So this Import List button, a bit of background, is creating or obtaining a CSV file on here. So essentially, as a bit of a background on how those points, as you can see in the 3D CAD file, a data extraction command was done to produce a spreadsheet file based on X, Y, and Z elements, which you can kind of see already over here. So in using that import list function, I've just opened the CSV file, and you can kind of see those values already, as you can see in this dialog box of what those values of each row are. You can also see with this CSV file, you can actually filter some of the values in here if you wanted to specifically see a certain row or certain height. So this is done in millimeters. And then you can navigate via here and search through it. So the first thing that I'll do with this CSV file is to create a topography. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign a toposolid on here, one that we've created earlier. So you can nominate how you want to position when you create this toposolid. So I'll just leave it in internal origin for now. And I'm going to change this to millimeters because that's what this data in here, as you can see, it's all done in millimeters. If I go import list, a toposolid, as you can see, has been created. A few more features with this import list tool. So I'm going to do another thing, going back to that file again, the spreadsheet file, clicking on here. I'm going to instead, so I'm going to do a selection of these rows. So I'm not going to create a toposolid based on all of these points that you can see. I'm just going to do a selection, which it is possible to do. So before I do that, I'll just change the units to millimeters again, highlight just a range of items in here. And then I've just assigned a different toposolid. So I'm just going to import only selected rows. And then over here, so if I just do a quick hide, so this is the portion of the toposolid that it has generated. I'm just going to do an undo. There's another function in this import list again. So the third thing that I'll show you, back to this CSV file, is to locate and place families based on those points that you can see on here. So if you go here under locate objects, you can assign certain families that you want to put in. So let's just put the seating bench family in, going back to the millimeters. what we'll do is I'll just do another selection just so you can kind of just gather what it is, import selected rows again. And you can see it's already placed some bench seating on those 3D points based on those that Excel spreadsheet you can kind of see. So centrally located, but at a click of a button, you can see it's already been placed there. All right, cool. So I'm just gonna hide a few of these elements and show you the next tool that we'll be running through today is this button here called Get Blocks. So what we'll do is, so this process of what I'm going to do is I'm going to place some Revit families based on the locations of what is in this CAD file. So I'll click this for now. All right, cool. So it's finished processing now. All right, cool. So what we'll do first is there's a few functions that I'd like to show you on here. So what we'll do, so the first one you could do is to pick on screen. So you can essentially click on an item, a block, and then so it's highlighted all of the same blocks that are on that CAD file, and it's kind of picked that certain block family. If we go expand the show list item, I can click a group of them based on what those blocks are called in the CAD file. So you can kind of see it's already generating visually on the 3D view, it's generating what has been selected already. So then we can just click a whole lot of these items. So you can assign the one family to this, but for the purpose of today, I'm going to choose multiple families and put a different family per different block type. So if we click multiple families on here, so see we've got a few names of what the blocks is, and then you can assign what families that you want for placement on these blocks. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go through a list of families that we've already got loaded in this project and I'm trying to nominate a different one, as you can kind of see as we go along. Hit apply list. So now you can kind of see it's color coded again based on the different blocks that are selected and what different families are assigned. So technically, if you had the one family that you wanted to assign to different blocks of different names, it will all be to one color. If you want to apply multiple families, then what will happen is it will assign different colors based on that. All right. And some handy features that you can do. So obtaining information from the block name in AutoCAD, you can actually put those values in, say, a parameter. And placement settings. So there's a few placement settings that you can put, when you use the get blocks function. So what I am going to do for now is to locate by block center. And then if you hit OK, you can already see it's quickly generated placement of where those specific families that I've applied to based on the location of that DWG. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to reset everything. The next command I'm going to show you is the align surface command. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight and filter the families. So I only want to assign or align the planting families onto the toposolid. So what I'll do is go back to the environment tool, and then I'm going to go to the align to surface button. So because all of these families that I've placed per the CAD file are on one plane, which is the ground level, I'm going to ensure that it goes onto this toposolid. So what we'll do is once we've activated that dialog, the align to surface one, after selecting your families that you want to move, click on this toposolid, and it will just say, oh, one surface element is selected. So you can do multiple surfaces, but for the purpose of today, I'm just going to do the one and click OK. And then it will elevate it based on this toposolid location. So you probably already did see with that tool so say if I selected that tool, if I go back to the Environment Addin, you can actually offset from from host as well. So say if I wanted to, do that again, I'm just do it at a really, really high number so it's visible for that one element. So you can kind of see that tree moved in the process. So you can do that in the one go as well. All right, cool. So the last tool that I'd like to show you today is the rotate elements tool. So what I'll do is I'll probably demonstrate it on this object specifically. So which are the logs here. So we'll go back to the environment tool, the button here called rotate elements. So we'll go here. So you can see that's already noted how many items I've selected in this view. You can nominate how you want to rotate the geometry, do a rotation angle. So obviously, anything under 360 degrees you can do. So if I type in 40, hit apply, and it will apply all of those elements in at once. So what I'm going to do next is if you did want to create interest on your site, you've got this random rotation tool as well. So I'll select this one. And then what we can do is we can nominate, the maximum extents that you want your random rotation to occur in. So I'm going to just say this, so you can see that there's big differences when you apply it. Hit apply. And so that's how you do it. So it's just at a click of a button, and then you can, select multiple elements, and it will apply the random rotation all at the same time.